During 2021, Canada Bay Council completed the construction of the shared path alongside Byrne Avenue. We thought this would be a good time to ride the path and provide some feedback to Council on what it's like from the perspective of the user. You might even think of this as user acceptance testing, and the points that we're about to discuss as lessons learned from the project. It doesn't matter whether your project management training was done via the Prince2 methodology or the PMBOK, both state that a lessons report has to be created at the end of the project during the closing a project process. The idea of creating this lessons report is that it can be used as an input for future projects. That is, learn from your mistakes and don't make them again. Although it's generally considered that a successful bicycle network must reflect the 5 principles of cohesion, directness, safety, comfort and attractiveness, today we're mainly going to concentrate on comfort. We're doing that because the Byrne Avenue path is shockingly uncomfortable for a brand new path. It is one of the worst newly built sections of cycling infrastructure in Sydney for 2021. That's an award we'd prefer Council didn't win in 2022. Let's do better next time. How do you judge whether a bike path is any good or not? Well, it's simple. You just hop on a bike and ride along it from one end to the other, and you might even do it back again. You can do that multiple times if you like, but once is generally enough to give you a pretty good idea of how well the path has been built. Unfortunately, the Australian Guide to Road Design Part 6A, Paths for Walking and Cycling, doesn't include a section that covers user acceptance testing. But it has the next best thing on page 84 where it says, I quote, "In order to gain an appreciation of the problems faced by pedestrians and cyclists, it is suggested that maintenance supervisors should walk or ride over the path. This enables a more detailed examination of the surface to be made and defects detected." Given the condition of the Byrne Avenue path, it's pretty clear that this step should be mandatory and conducted before the final contractor payment is approved. That's one lesson for Council. But let's step back for a moment and look at how we reviewed the path comfort level. 2 of us met at Trovatino's and then cycled up to Blackwall Point Road and then around to Byrne Avenue via Campbell Park and Lysart Park. This route was chosen because Blackwall Point Road consists of old, badly weathered concrete slabs and it's not in very good condition. There is an old concrete footpath through Campbell Park and there is a new concrete path through Lysart Park. Riding on these different surfaces beforehand was designed to provide a baseline level of comfort from different types and ages of concrete path construction. That allowed us to kind of compare how the old stuff and the relatively new stuff compared to the brand new stuff. Yeah, what do you think of the ride down Blackwall Point Road, that old bit of concrete?
I thought it was pretty manageable already. There was no great pavement concern.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit bumpy in places. It's suffering from age. It's got spalling. It's got some what do you call it? Some lips or steps where the slabs meet, which is expected of something that's 50 or 60 years old. But yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, how's this bit of path so far?
Well, it's not up to shared.
It's not wide enough.
Yeah, that's right. So, but it's fine so far.
Comfort-wise, I think comfort's the main thing. I mean, the joints aren't too bad.
Well, so far there's a few trees up here, a few casuarinas which may lift the path.
Yeah, well, there's a few chunks missing like that. Yeah, okay, here it's pretty bad.
This is a reasonably popular route because it avoids a hill going up into Chiswick.
Yeah.
So people use it in both directions. If you're going, say, from Drummoyne towards Abbotsford and Five Dog.
Yeah. So this next bit of path has been here for a while. It's a couple of years old.
But the quality of this, the ride isn't too bad. There was a bit dippy back there. Did you notice? We went through a little lower section.
But I think it's pretty smooth. Like, I'm not picking up a lot of vibration or undulation from the surface. And the joints are good. There's no ba-boom ba-boom as we're going over the joints. That's fine. So we're on the older section now, and the joints are definitely noisier. I think there's more of a gap. You can feel it. You can hear it. Like, that was a solid bump. That was a bump, that was a bump, that was a bump, that was a bump, 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 bump. Okay, now we're on the old section. Sorry, new section.
Which was built in 2021.
Ow.
Oh, gee whiz. It's not good, is it?
No, it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I'm actually jiggling up and down in my seat. It's,
that's right.
It's got a wave formation the whole way along it. It's incredible.
Yeah. My goodness.
That is shocking.
You know, if they hadn't ridden over it as a test as we've just done, they probably wouldn't have realised that, but a visual inspection would indicate, oh yeah, it's generally okay.
Yeah.
But they haven't done the user test, have they?
No. And so we keep on going on this section. So again, this is an old section that some of the slabs have moved slightly. There's a bit of a bump as we go over the joints, and the joints are not as tight as the new sections are. Some of them are spalled a bit with age. There's a little bit of jiggling up and down from time to time, but nothing like that. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a bit rougher, but
look, and it gives you what you want out of a concrete pavement, and that is, it's pretty sound. You're not getting deformation through use as you do with asphalt. Not getting potholes, etc. So it's a pretty good quality park.
Yeah, but that new section, boy oh boy. So yeah, in summary, what do you think?
Yeah, it's problematic. There are certainly too many little dips all the way through. The quality control hasn't been good. It doesn't seem like they've had bike riders in mind when they've built it.
Even though it's a bike path.
That's right. I mean, it's sort of mystifying. It may point to a gap in their specification, certainly in their quality control, or perhaps the contractor hasn't known what they've been doing and hasn't been guided by council staff to make sure that the smoothness is of a certain level, technical level.
Well, I think unless you looked at it really closely, you wouldn't see the undulation. So I'm looking over there, and I can actually see on the edge of the path. If you look very carefully, you can see that it's got this kind of waveform to it. But you wouldn't pick that up just walking along it. Walking along there with those waves, you wouldn't notice. You have to actually have a wheel underneath you to pick up that those dips and rises as it goes along. And look, if I was coming down here signing off the invoice on this, I'd go, it's made out of the right material, it's the right width, it goes from end to end, there's a ramp over there, they've done the revegetation and stuff, it looks good, the line markings are done, the poles are up with signs on them. It ticks all those boxes. On the surface it looks perfectly good. I don't know what the drainage is like. Hopefully it drains into the harbour when it rains and doesn't have puddles forming on it. But this user acceptance testing of a bike path on bikes has, I think, shown it's a fail.
Well, that's right. They're probably looking at the fact that no one's going to trip over on any part of it. Yeah. You're going to be able to push your pram along it or whatever, and in theory ride a bike. It's really the comfort issue. Yeah. It's way below what it should be when you're putting the sort of money into it that they have.
Yeah, I know. I see this as a total waste of money. Unfortunately, bitten by something.
Well, let's hope that if we point this out to council, that they'll make sure their specifications in future are right, and that their monitoring of contractor performance is right.
Yeah, there's some good lessons to be learned from this. There definitely is. I mean, that's just basic project management 101. Write this down as a lesson that firstly, it needs to be properly specified so the contractor knows it's going to be tested at the end by a bike ride, and two, actually come down here and do a bike ride, and as we did, as a reference guide, I guess, is ride some old bits so you get a feel for what good feels like. So when you experience bad, you can go, that's good, that's bad, or mediocre, right. Good and bad, whatever. You've actually got, if you don't actually have some measuring equipment which will pick this up, some kind of electronic doodad, which will, you can go and spend money on getting a consultant to come out here and ride a quad bike over it with goodness knows what to pick that up.
Yeah, that's right.
Or you can go to Target and buy a $500 bike and come down here and do it, for a tenth the price.
I think getting it to the requisite standard of comfort level for bike riders is not hard. I mean, these construction contractors who are used to working in concrete, they can do it. I mean, it's they can do it. They just have to be directed. There has to be in the specification, and they have to be directed to do it to a certain standard by the council staff. And it's a 5-minute conversation for the overseeing civil engineering council to tell them what it's for and the quality that it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, if this was my driveway or my swimming pool or the slab of my house, I wouldn't pay for it. You know, I'd be saying dig that up and start again.
Yeah.
You know, that would you want this under your kitchen? You know, that kind of quality? You know, it's nah.
Yeah, well, now they can start talking to some concrete modifiers, but perhaps to take some grinding wheels over it.
Maybe they need to put an asphalt surface on it.
Okay.
Okay, that'll do. Fortunately, there are some high-quality concrete paths in the inner west that can be used as reference material for future bike path analysis and testing. The Inner West Council also built a concrete path alongside the Hawthorn Canal last year, and it is a thing of beauty. The great thing about this path is that it starts just off the bay run at Lilyfield Road, so it should be very easy for councillors, council staff or contractors to come around and try it out to experience the level of quality that we should be asking for in future tenders. A bit further afield, Canterbury Bankstown Council put down a new path in Ewan Park on the Cooks River in 2021, and it's like a billiard table. Clearly, contractors need to be told what's expected from a comfort perspective and how comfort will be tested. And that means someone from council is going to have to find a bike that they can utilise for user acceptance testing. So if council uses a formal project management methodology like Prince 2, it shouldn't be too hard for the responsible project manager to add these items to the lessons learned report for Byrne Avenue. Let's not do this again in 2022 or any other year for that matter.